Hi everyone. So today we're going to continue working on the same process that we started with in the first video, which was 1-point perspective. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to use the whole idea of taking a shape and connecting it to our one vanishing point for 1-point perspective, but we're going to create an environment today using the same idea. So the same materials are required: a white piece of paper or whatever kind of paper you have, some kind of straight edge, a ruler, or the side of another piece of paper or a book or whatever you have around the house, a pencil and an eraser. So today I'm going to start off instead by creating, instead of making my vanishing point right away, I'm going to create a horizon line. So I'm going to put my ruler down on the paper somewhere in the middle and create a line. Now on that line is where my vanishing point is going to go. So there I go. I have my horizon line, and my horizon line is where the sky meets the land. Right there, where the sun would come up and the sun would set. But I'm going to put my vanishing point right on my horizon line. Now that is where everything I create will connect. So I'm going to start by creating a small building. So I'm going to start with instead of just a rectangle, I'm going to create a shape that resembles a house. Just a general house shape. Now you can get as complicated with this as you'd like, especially if you're very comfortable with this process. But I'm going to start, for our purposes, just with a pretty simple shape. And I'm going to take this shape and do just what we did the last time. I'm going to connect whatever corners I think are necessary to the vanishing point. So I will start by connecting the top of the house to the vanishing point. I'll move on to this corner of the house, again, to the vanishing point. I'll move down to this corner of the house, to the vanishing point, and you'll see that, and of course if I wanted my house to be see-through, I could connect that one and that one, especially if I wanted it to look like a tunnel. I could connect that line and it would look like a tunnel. However, I have my shape here connected to the vanishing point. Now it goes all the way back here and disappears there. Do I want my house to be that long? Well, I don't, so I'm going to cut it off. Now I don't just want to come in here and cut it off with a line. That doesn't make any sense. Instead, I want to cut off or end each side individually. So again, I take my ruler, as I'm using that for all of my lines, and I'm going to cut off this side first. So I'm going to match up my ruler to the side of the house, just like that. And I'm just going to very slowly bring it back, drag it back as far back as I want the house to go, so I can show you how that works this way. That's how far. Now I'm not rotating the ruler at all. If I start to rotate the ruler, the house is going to look like it's falling over. I want it to stay vertical. So I'm just going to drag that back and make a line right on that ruler. Now I'm going to take my ruler, put it on the side of the roof, match it to the side of the roof, and drag it back to where that line ended. Again, I'm not going to rotate it at all. I'm just going to take that, move it back until it hits that line or that point, and there's my house. And now I can get rid of, and this is again why you need your eraser, the lines I don't need. Okay, well I can make a much larger building over here if I want, like a skyscraper. So I'll start by just creating, oops, sorry if my paper goes crooked. Hopefully it appears to be straight up and down to you. I'll begin to create the front part of my skyscraper. I'll get rid of the line that goes through my skyscraper. And now I'll connect whatever points are necessary to the vanishing point. So I'll start with this point. There you go. I'll connect to this point. And will I connect this one? Probably not, because it goes through the building. And again, this one goes through the building, so I won't connect that. All right, now again, I don't want my skyscraper to go all the way back to the vanishing point. I want to make it shorter. So just like I did with the house, I will take my ruler, put it or match it to the side of the skyscraper and move it back and draw a line and get rid of the line that I don't need here. Okay, so there's my skyscraper. Now if I want to, I can reuse these lines. I can make more buildings using those lines. I can make as many buildings as I want to using those lines. All I have to do is go back, and just like I made that line, now I'm going to add a couple more lines, just like that. Vertical lines, so the building appears to be standing up straight. Okay, but all I have here is the side of the building. I need the front edge. So that's pretty simple. I go to the front corner of the building and add the top of the building. And I go to the bottom corner of the building, which is right there, and add there. Now I can get rid of whatever lines I don't need anymore. All right, so there are my 3 buildings using 1-point perspective. Okay, but none of my buildings have any detail. So how do I do that using this idea of 1-point perspective? So if I'm creating detail simply on the front of the buildings, I draw that as I normally would, just like you created that first shape. And of course you'll use your ruler. Look, there you go, there's a door. A couple of windows, right? Okay, but what if I want to put a window on the side of the house? It goes back towards the vanishing point. So I need to use my vanishing point. So for this, I'm going to take my ruler and put it on the side of the house, vertical, just like that line. I'll move it back and I'm going to make a line. Okay, but that's not a window, right? That's just a line. So now I take that line and I connect the top of the line to the vanishing point. And I can make this line go all the way back there if I want to, but I know eventually I'm going to erase that. So as long as my ruler is attached to the vanishing point, I actually don't need to make that line go all the way back. That will save me, it'll save my eraser actually, if I just make the line as far back as I think I want to. All right, so now I have this window, but I don't want my window to go all the way back, and I don't want it to go all the way to the end of the building. So again, I come here, match the line to the front of the window, push it back, drag it back, and make the back of the window. So there's my window. Now I can continue to make other detail on the window. So if I want to make some lines going through the window, again, just any vertical lines or any lines that go up and down, keep your ruler vertical. There's that line. But if I want lines to go to crisscross that, again, make sure your ruler is connected to the vanishing point. Put the ruler wherever you want that line to go. And now that window looks like it's sitting on the side of the building. And I can do this to these buildings as well, whatever detail I want to create. Let's say I want to put detail on the roof. And remember, as you're listening to this video, you can certainly pause it and do step by step if that helps. And don't worry if you have trouble with this. This process sometimes takes practice. All right, so I'm going to do some shingles on the top of my house. So for that, again, same pattern. I'm connecting my ruler to the vanishing point, and I'll make lines that go back on the roof. And this time my ruler's kind of rotating. I'm just making lines that go back on the roof, connecting to the vanishing point. There you go. And now I'm going to take my ruler again, match it to the side of the roof, and I'm going to make the lines of the shingles. I'll go every other here. a little further back, and I'll do those, and a little further back. So I have some shingles on my building. Okay. One last thing for this, and then you'll have a chance to try this out. My buildings need a road. There needs to be a road in here. So I'm going to take two lines and connect it to the vanishing point. So I'm going to take my ruler right there between the buildings, make a line. Take my ruler between the two buildings, make the other side of the road. Then I'll make the line going down the middle. Again, I'll use my ruler. I encourage you to use your ruler for all of this. You can even add a sidewalk on either side of the road by, again, putting your ruler on the vanishing point, making a line. Same here, finish up the sidewalk on this side. There we go. So now you have the beginning of an environment. So I'm going to let you work on this. If you're pretty confident with this whole process, continue adding the detail. Take it as far as you can take it and share your results with me. Good luck.